Olivi and Marc Raimondi here in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Sure are.
It feels like we were just here. It's about 11 months ago that history was made by Leon Edwards. But today we had a press conference, this one for UFC 291, and we started about 20 minutes late.
Correct.
Everyone was on time today. The reason we started late is there were actually hundreds of fans who were still trying to get into the building, and PR wanted to ensure that everyone could be here for the press conference. It was standing room only. Was it surprising at all that, you know, sort of on a weekday that you have a big crowd like this in this market?
A little bit, because traditionally Utah is not known to be a big fight place. Salt Lake City is not really a big fight town, but I will say, even last year, I was very impressed by the fans showing at the press conference, at the weigh-ins, and on fight night, the fans were fantastic. So I think maybe this is a little bit of a growing fight hub. Salt Lake City could be a place where we see the UFC maybe annually now, I think.
Utah is showing out. You keep it up. We love it.
Kind of a cool city, too. I kind of dig it in Salt Lake City.
Oh, my God. It is super beautiful. There's been some great food.
No one's even paying me to say that.
Which is obviously...
But if someone does want to pay me to say that,
we're ready.
It's the truth. So
we are ready. Yeah, the Board of Tourism, we are here. But let's talk about the press conference itself. In terms of our main event, you know, Dustin and Justin aren't necessarily the most boastful, loudmouth guys. They're tremendous fighters. They know how to sell a fight, but they're not really going to go out there and flip tables or anything. Was there a big takeaway for you between two of our main event stars? I
think that it was kind of just business as usual for the two of them, and honestly, that's fine, because how do you promote a fight between Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier? Show every highlight of Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier. This fight is the BMF title. They are in this fight for a reason. I don't think there's anyone else on the roster right now that would make more sense than either one of these guys to fight for the title. I think it's and also, like, I'm actually a big fan of this title. I know it's a little bit polarizing to some. Even Gaethje and Poirier have not been overly excited about the BMF. I love it. I think it should stay. I think the winner should keep it. You should defend it. I think it should be like an open weight title. I think you can have a lot of fun with this title. Max Holloway said the other day that he would be willing to fight for it. I dig the BMF, and I think it's almost like the People's Championship in a sense, right? Because these are the guys that the hardcore fans want to see the most. And I mean, if you don't want to watch this fight on Saturday, I don't even know if you have a pulse.
No,
it's gonna be insane.
I couldn't agree with you more. To that point, though, about them not really talking about the BMF belt so much, I think it's because they both have, you know, real title hopes.
Sure.
And they believe
the
that
BMF
this
is a real title,
no,
Megan. It's
you know
a real
what I mean?
title.
World Championship title for their division. They believe they're a fight or so away.
100%. But how about this? There's only been one ever BMF. There's been a lot of lightweight champions. There's only been one ever BMF. We just saw him. It was Jorge Masvidal back in 2019. He beat Nate Diaz. There have been many UFC lightweight champions. There's only been one BMF. It's a special title. To me, it's not as prestigious as the championship. That means you're the best in the world. But it's a legacy all and an honor all of its own.
I think your passion for this should allow you to maybe be like the keeper of the BMF belt. Like you come out with white gloves and you carry it.
I'm not sure if you've seen me lately, but when you look at Marc Raimondi, you don't see BMF. You'd see many other things, but BMF is not one of those things. I mean, also it's like another abbreviation for something, but let's move on.
Did you love that they brought Masvidal out?
Fantastic. I hope he's there in the cage to put the belt on it. I mean, I wish he would have defended it. I think that could have been really cool if he stayed. I mean, could have prolonged his career. Maybe if he was just in kind of fun, you know, BMF-like fights. I don't know. I'm a big fan of the belt. I'm a pro wrestling fan, so this kind of hits me right in the feels.
I appreciate your passion.
Not really. Hopefully not.
Yeah, no, because then you'd be going down. I do want to mention that there was some heat at this press conference, but it came between Bobby Green and Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson, during the face-off, kind of stone still, and Bobby Green got really close to him. He told Mick Maynard, I'm not going to touch him. Let me get close to him. But he had some passionate answers as well. What are your takeaways from both the way Bobby was up there, but how Tony is sort of continuing to evolve as an athlete? We talked to him during fighter meetings. He said he's not coming in here with as much hate in his heart, as big of a chip on his shoulder. He's less angry, and you can kind of see that today.
Yeah, this is a really fascinating fight for me because both of these guys are, you know, veterans of the sport. By the way, they're kind of both BMFs in their own right for the hardcore fans.
Absolutely.
I mean, everyone wants to see a Tony Ferguson fight, a Bobby Green fight, and they've kind of circled each other for a long time. They've both been around a long time. They're both from Southern California, right? I'm sure they've probably encountered
the wrestling
each other
community
in gyms and the wrestling community there. I'm surprised this is actually the first time they fought, and it seems like there maybe is a little bit of history, a little bit of bad blood there, and it's just, this is an important fight for both of them because they're both kind of like, I think both of them would even agree. I know Tony wants to go for another title run, but these are guys that are both in their mid-30s now to the late 30s, and they're kind of at a little bit at the end of their primes. And it's a really, really important fight for each one of them because a win here is key. Tony Ferguson's been on a little bit of a skid. Bobby Green is, had actually, since the pandemic, he's kind of had a little bit of a career renaissance, but this is such a huge fight for either one of them, and I think that's also kind of stoking the flames a little because they know how important it is.
No, that's absolutely valid. Really excited to see that one on the pay-per-view. Mark, before I let you go, I just want to talk about the co-main event face-off.
Yeah.
Alex, he held the title. He beat Adesanya at middleweight. He lost, of course, just a couple of months ago, decided to move up. He has a big weight cut. But then you see him do this face-off with Jan Blachowicz.
He's a massive human being.
He's huge.
Yeah.
And then you think, should he go to heavyweight? You know what I mean? Like, he's so big. And obviously, I mean, middleweight is not out of the picture for him. He talked about this being something that he'd be willing to go back down to do. But when you see him in a face-off there, what are your expectations for him in the division, just in terms of where he fits athletically and size-wise?
Well, I mean, I think he looks like a natural 205er to me. I mean, he doesn't look like a guy that fought at 185.
I know.
His last fight. We saw him on Media Day with Daniel Cormier, and DC, as he does to almost everyone, tries to wrestle.
Yes,
including
of course,
me,
shoot for the
probably even
takedown.
you too.
Yes.
and he tried to wrestle, Poatan yesterday, and he was even noting just how much stronger he felt at 205, and that's got to be a scary proposition for Jan Blachowicz. But yeah, I mean, he's taller than Jan. I mean, he's certainly not giving up a whole lot of width either. He's a big man. I mean, honestly, like, if you look at that stage, there was a lot of MFs on that stage tonight. There was Wonder Boy, nicest MF.
There we go.
Alex Pereira, scariest MF.
Yep.
Bobby Green and Tony Ferguson are like kind of hardcore fan MFs. I mean, there's a lot of MFs out there. And I'm with one of myself. I mean, the best dressed MF right here, Megan Olivi. How about this?
What a king. What a king.
I say?
Get him those sponsorship deals, honestly, because he deserves them. He's really doing the Lord's work here. Mark, I appreciate your insight. Of course, we will be on the ground for all of your UFC 291 coverage, so stay tuned right here to ESPN MMA.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.